Now, you're very welcome back. So, if you're listening in Senegal this afternoon, today, of course, is a public holiday which has been declared on the back of their Africa Cup of Nations success in a penalty shootout against Egypt. Sadio, Mane, very happy man. Mo Salah and Egypt not so happy. Second time in a row they've been pipped to the title. To discuss all, we are joined by a winner of this tournament, former Cameroon international, Joseph Ndo. Joe, great to have you on.
Hi, Joe.
So, let's start with the final. Up until the penalty shootout, this was not the greatest game in the world. I think it's fair to say, 0-0.
Yeah, but I think we have some great individuals, and then also you have it was very tactical, because when you see the way Egypt is playing, Egypt always try to control the game. You can see how much they waste the time. I think they are very good on that. Even when I used to play with them, even in clubs, when we played the African Champions League, they are so experienced how to control the tempo of the game. And I think Senegal have done well by trying always to up the tempo.
So you used the word technical there of Egypt style. I think a lot of us would say there's nothing technical about wasting time, about getting the ball out of play far too often, about killing the game, in effect. It might be utterly professional, but for me, there's no technical greatness to that. Like, I was reading Jonathan Wilson, for instance, who writes for The Guardian, and he described Egypt's play as anti-football in its truest sense. It's not that they defend, it's that they actively try to prevent any football being played. I think you're being maybe a bit generous to Egypt. Do they not have players to produce more quality football, no?
No, it's not. When I say I say they were technical individuals. So now when it comes to the game, you try to do the best you can, who are going to suit the majority of your players. And I think Egypt is playing with this strength, because most of the time, the way I see is that Senegal, with the player they have to play a certain way. And Egypt, the thing is, when you don't know Egypt, then it's a little bit strange. But we all know Egypt. Like, that's not new for us. Do you understand? So we all know how they play, and we all know how they are good at what they are doing, because that's another thing. I cannot ask Egypt to change their mentality about the approach of the game when it gives them results. And I think what the Senegal done better than Cameroon is that they keep the tempo, because that's something Cameroon didn't do. And I think it's very important to understand it. You know, I love passing football. I love players expressing themselves. But I also understand that the football is not just the way I feel it. I have to respect the other people's vision of football. But when I go against them, you know, I'm not worried about what they're going to do. I put everything on what I'm going to do. And I think Egypt, and especially also because they played on Thursday, and they have the final on Sunday. And for them, I think they felt that, listen, it's going to be difficult to keep up the tempo. And they find something is it my kind of football? No, but I respect, because they are good on, at least they have a player who can play, who can do that.
Yeah. So am I right in saying that in your heart and in your soul, you don't look forward to watching Egypt, but in your head you can respect the approach and understand the approach? That's maybe how we might split the difference here.
The one thing I will say, that if you play against Egypt, you know what to expect. So it's going to be up to you to control the game. Because wasting time, I think, where do they learn wasting time? Is in European League. Because most of the time, when you see let's say when a team in Ireland is playing against a European team, the European team, they have so much experience. They know how to control the game. They know when to waste time. They know when to go down. So they're very specific. And when the referee, because that's another thing, during the game, I saw many stopped, many fouled that the referee, of course, he whistled the foul, but he didn't give the yellow card. And I think that also, that was a little bit, for me, that's why I felt that, okay, Egypt, they have to play their game, but the referee, because if he give you yellow once, you're going to be careful the second time. And I think many times, Egyptian player went away with that.
Mo Salah can't be happy playing that style of football.
I think Mo Salah is very happy to play that football because that's where he grew up. So he knows exactly the way they play. And at the moment, I would say one thing is that they are not as clinical as they used to be. Because in the past, if they have two chances, they're going to put one in. And the game is over. I guarantee you the game is over. And in other hand is that when they concede one goal, it's difficult for them to come back. So
do you think, Joseph, that this is the right approach, or do you not think there is more ability in this Egypt team to play a better style of football, to play a more attacking style of football, to score more goals? Do you not think Egypt could do that, especially with a player like Mo Salah in their team? Because this business of pragmatism to the degree that they take it to just seems like a very reductive style.
But Joe, who's the manager?
Carlos Queiroz.
So I think that's.
But I'm criticizing the manager. I think that I would associate it with this manager, and I think it's an argument against this manager. That's basically what I'm saying. I'm being critical of him.
That's what I'm saying. Is that for the manager, if the things are working out, like personally for me, I know how to beat Egypt, so I don't mind what they are doing. Because we play against them so many times and we understood, because the first thing about Egypt is that you have to dominate them physically. I think that's the first thing.
Right.
And if you cannot do that, it's going to be difficult for you to win. They have to feel that, listen, here today, even we are wasting time, we don't have a choice.
Yes.
So they always struggle on that aspect first. Because when you start dominating them physically, then you force them to play the technical football because they are very technical. I guarantee you on that.
Right.
But based on the manager, the way he asked them to play. Because the main thing is what? It was like, we're going to protect everything because we know that Salah going to have one chance. So if we can go through the 90 minutes without conceding, we may have a chance in penalties. But that's not down the player, because I know for a fact that they are very technical players. Very technical players.
Right, interesting.
But all depends of the manager, the way, I'm going to say, the way they play, I think in 2000 was completely different the way they play now.
Right.
Of course, they were wasting time, but they have higher possession of the ball. And they were wasting time when they are 1-0 up, because when they are 1-0 up, they know how to manage. But then now I think they have that, I will say, prudent approach to say, listen, it's better not to do too much and go to the final than try to play expansive football. But they have a player who can play that expansive football, and I think also that will help Salah. So at the moment, the system is not based on Salah. Maybe they think that it's based on Salah, but it's not based on Salah, because Salah's game is based on ball possession. It's not based on defending without the ball. That's not possible. He needs the ball all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And that's why I put it to you that I find it hard to believe that Salah enjoys this style of football. I'm sure he has great pride playing for Egypt and loves playing for Egypt, but it just seems like a great waste of one of the great footballers to play this style of football. It's such a waste. It's such a waste. Do you know what else is a waste? Let's stay on that point. Okay, we go with this very, very, very miserable brand of football, and then we get to penalties. And then we don't even let our brilliant footballer take a penalty. I mean, at this stage, I just give up. I'm walking out of the room.
You're on fire today. I need to speak to someone in Egypt. You say Joe is not happy.
I'm really not happy.
But I think what their plan was, that Salah gonna take the fifth one, and we're gonna win because they felt that the keeper gonna save maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah,
but I told you again.
And how did that work out for them? Because I must have missed Salah's penalty.
He walked out against Cameroon, and then Senegal say, we learned our lesson. Salah will not take the penalty. But that's what I'm saying, Joe, that maybe for the staff or the manager, he thought that he based everything around Salah.
Yeah.
But he didn't use, because with Salah on the pitch, you shouldn't go in penalties. That's not possible.
And once they do get to penalties, Joseph, do you think it was Salah's decision to be fifth, or do you think the manager said you should go fifth? I suspect it's really Salah wanting to go fifth and kick the winning penalty. No,
I don't know really, but because I think he worked out so well against Cameroon, So, and to be fair, the fifth penalty is always the hardest one. But to interrupt you rudely, it often... No, you didn't interrupt me rudely.
Okay, to interrupt you politely, it so often doesn't get to the fifth penalty. Yeah. And for me, so look, Jamie Carragher, for instance, to give you a sense of what others in the footballing world had to say, Jamie Carragher said... after the shootout, he said, that is why your best penalty taker should never go fifth. Mo Salah not taking a penalty for Egypt in a shootout is madness. And it happened to Ronaldo years ago.
I don't really agree, Joe.
Portugal, Spain.
I don't really agree. Why? Because they done it against Cameroon. They done it against and by the way, it's not Mo Salah their best penalty taker. I forgot the name of the first one. He always take the first penalty.
Okay.
I think that's the best one. In Egypt, so it worked out. But when it comes to penalty, you see the way we are seeing as who's going to take the penalty, but it's not the way Egypt seeing. Egypt seeing as how many penalty our goalkeeper going to save, because they are so confident of that goalkeeper that even when he's injured, he's playing. So they don't look at the way we are looking at. We're looking at who's going to take. They're looking at how many is he going to score. So for them, they are guaranteed that he's going to score, he's going to save at least 2 penalties. That's what I'm saying. I think we are too... The way we are seeing football is so much different. When we are seeing us and the manager, it is so a way apart. Because we're seeing as who's going to make a difference on the pitch, but he sees as how many penalty my goalkeeper going to save. So if he save 1 or 2 penalty, I will not need to put too much on who's going to take the last one or the fourth one.
Okay, I hear you, and I take into account what you're saying about the goalkeeper being good. That said, it seems to me like just common sense. And this is the thing in football. We've seen, like, Ronaldo didn't take a penalty for Portugal because he was fifth and it never got that far. We've seen this tendency in football before where the big name is fifth on the list and never gets around to taking a penalty. And that is, as Jamie Carragher said, it's madness to not have... Okay, you're saying Salah might be second best penalty taker. But for me, it just seems, however good your goalkeeper is, it seems mad not to have your best 4 penalty takers guaranteed to take a penalty. Most penalty shootouts end before the 5th one, or a lot of them do. So I'd say to Salah, okay, go fourth. Go fourth. Make sure... We just want to make sure our best 2, 3, 4 penalty takers are first in line, and hopefully our keeper saves the day and brilliant, we win. But to have him fifth and to risk him not taking a penalty, this is another big issue with Carlos Queiroz. But I do wonder, I do think Salah maybe wanted to go fifth and maybe have that crowning moment, I think.
It's the same with Sadio Mane. That's another thing because, as you know, the top players, the way they see it, they don't see as the goalkeeper gonna save 4 penalties. They see as the goalkeeper may save 1, and I'm gonna have to take the last one. Because to be fair, also, to take the 5th penalty when the keeper already saved 1 and you are the one who has to crown your team, is a huge responsibility. So the way the top players are looking at this, they always certain that, listen, he may save 1 penalty, and I'm going to take the last one.
That's why I think go first or go fourth. They're your best odds. Go first or go fourth, I think.
Maybe they're going to change after that, but I think it worked out so well for them against Cameroon that it will be difficult after winning in penalties against Cameroon for them to change anything.
Yes, well, that's a fair point.
Another thing.
Yeah, no,
that's another thing. Because
that maybe explains their thinking. But I'm sure if you were in the same team as Mo Salah and you were going into a penalty shootout and he said, Joseph, I'm going to go fifth, I'm sure you would turn around to him and say, yeah, no, I think you should go second, third, fourth because I want you to take a penalty. No?
No, but Joe, we wouldn't go in penalty.
Be 5-0 up.
That's too much for us. No.
But you would, I'm sure you would say to Mo Salah, here, Mo, I don't think...
That's another thing, Joe, is that, when it comes to penalty, most of the time, before the penalty, you have, I would say, 7 takers.
Yeah.
And then of those 7 takers, you have 5 who are pretty sure that, I'm ready. And then on those 5, and I tell you the truth, on those 5, you have certain players who cannot go in any number than the one they choose. So you have some players, they have to go the first.
Okay.
Other players, they demand to go second.
Okay.
And the manager, because what happens is that when you are training in penalties, even in Cameroon national team, it was the same. We are doing penalties in training. And then he has those 7 names or 8 names. But before the penalty start, he asks, are you ready? Do you want to? Because it's important for the player to say yes. So do you want it? Yes. Do you want it? Yes. But then now, they're going to tell you, okay, I want to go third. I want to go. And I don't see Mo Salah telling one of his teammates that, oh, no, I'm going to go third. Because he's the one who has to always show the example. And he understood how much, because sometimes the player is scared to go last.
Fair enough.
Or first.
Fair enough.
I think that's a 2 penalty where sometimes the player is scared to take the first one and the 5th one.
Okay. That's interesting.
Everyone wants the second, the third, or the fourth.
Okay. It's good. But it's good to get the perspective of a player there. So fair enough. Maybe there is that. But I tell you what, if on the basis of this conversation, if Egypt give me and you the job to take Egypt forward, then one, we're going to play more attacking football, but also Mo Salah is going first, second, third, or fourth when we're deciding who takes the penalties, whether he likes it or not, and that's just...
I think he will go first.
Fine. Deal. Done.
Yeah.
A word on Senegal then. Were you happy to see them win? Do they deserve to win this title?
Oh, I was so pleased for them, especially for the manager, Cisse. He got a team, I think that's his 7 year or 8 years, I don't really remember, and he got so much critics because of the top player he has under him, and he always comes short. And I remember, I think in 2002, when he missed a penalty against us. And I think for him to win on penalties, that's a big relief, because there is nothing worse, Joe, than you miss a penalty in the final. That's a nightmare, because that's going to follow you all your life. you always gonna think that I could have, and that's why I said I was so pleased for him to be able to win that African Cup. And you know, it didn't start well for them. To be fair, it didn't start well for them, and for him to finish like that, I was so pleased.
Okay, very good. Well, listen, you know what a lovely feeling it is to win that tournament, so I'm sure they're having a good afternoon. Listen, Joseph and Doe, we are out of time. Really enjoyed the chat, so thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, Joseph and Doe there with his thoughts on Senegal winning the African Cup of Nations by penalty shootout. Sadio Mane kicked the winner, incidentally, and our football coverage is with thanks to Sky. Don't miss Burnley and Man United on Tuesday night, live only on BT Sport. We'll take a break.